One of Africa's most developed regions faces an unprecedented crisis. The rich diversity and energy of the Eastern and Western Cape regions in South Africa are declining, signaling a looming crisis. Cities like Cape Town in the Western Cape, once celebrated as a thriving global tourist destination, are now seeing a downturn. These cities teeter on the edge of a dire predicament: water scarcity. Cape Town's plight serves as a stark warning for the entire country. It is projected to become the world's first major city to completely exhaust its water resources. So how did South Africa arrive at this point? And is there a viable solution to this crisis? For decades, South Africa has spearheaded the development and implementation of advanced water conservation policies. These policies aim to ensure universal water access, foster sustainability, and safeguard the environment. Legal frameworks such as the National Water Act and White Paper on National Water Policy endorse efficient usage and equitable access. Cities like Cape Town have been actively devising new methods to conserve water for years. So where did they go wrong? Well, despite commendable conservation efforts by the South African government, they fell short. With a population exceeding 60 million, nearly 20 million reside in rural settlements, reliant solely on local wells and pumps. Immigration and population expansion in rural areas compound stress on South Africa's water supply. A portion of the rural populace lacks reliable water access and basic sanitation services. While poor planning plays a role, climate conditions have been particularly harsh in the past decade. South Africa relies on rainwater, which is unpredictable, unevenly distributed, and decreasing due to global warming. From October to December 2015, 3 months saw the driest conditions in the past 35 years, with December 2015 being exceptionally hot. In regions like Cape Town, food shortages and cholera outbreaks surged due to water scarcity, worsening over time. This signaled the onset of a devastating 3-year drought, unprecedented in more than a century. Climatologists at the University of Cape Town attribute man-made global warming as a likely factor in the prolonged drought. The drought unveiled a critical issue in the nation's water supply: its heavy dependence on rainwater. This crisis was a long time in the making. A headline from the Cape Times as far back as April 26, 1990, boldly stated, "City will run out of water in 17 years," citing a presentation by the Water Research Commission in Parliament. The article recommended a sewage recycling plant to supplement water supplies from the city's 6 rainfall-fed dams. While water conservation policies have provided some relief in the past, ineffective planning and inadequate crisis management have only served to worsen the situation. The city's outdated water infrastructure has long struggled to keep pace with the demands of its expanding population. Since the 2015 catastrophe, 3 years into the drought, decisive action was imperative. The year 2018 proved immensely challenging for South Africans, with the looming threat of a dire scenario necessitating strict regulations. In January 2018, Cape Town officials declared that the city, home to 4 million people, was just 3 months away from exhausting its municipal water supply. Dubbed Day Zero, April 12, 2018, was slated to mark the largest drought-induced municipal water failure in modern history, the culmination of 3 consecutive years of meager rainfall. Prior government efforts struggled to keep pace. Plans to enhance the city's climate resilience by diversifying water resources with boreholes and desalination plants were scheduled for implementation post-2020. However, climate changes outpaced these plans, unleashing a drought so severe that it would typically occur only once every 384 years. By September 2018, Cape Townians faced strict water rationing, with a limit of just over 23 gallons per person per day. As reservoirs dwindled to 1/3 of their capacity, as resources reached their lowest, the limit was further reduced to 13 gallons, falling below the minimum UN daily recommendation for domestic water needs. Cape Town's government escalated water tariffs and enforced prohibitions on users, banning municipal water usage for non-essential purposes like swimming pools and lawns. Farmers redirected additional water originally allocated for agriculture to the city. Moreover, the city introduced a new water pressure system, saving roughly 10% of overall municipal water consumption. These measures helped alleviate the crisis, and 1 year later, Cape Town successfully navigated through the worst of the historic drought without shutting off the taps. Nevertheless, the water supply remained precarious. and other regions in South Africa were not as fortunate. Councils in 5 municipalities declared drought disasters, urging for national disaster status. Among these, KwaZulu-Natal province in the southeastern part of South Africa faced significant challenges. In 2019, rural communities south of Durban endured weeks without municipal water, relying instead on unreliable tanker trucks. By November, prolonged drought left the province's south coast grappling with severe shortages as water sources dried up. Calls emerged for the town of Harding to be declared a disaster area, prompting urgent proposals for a bulk pipeline to secure its water supply. Additionally, Gauteng province in northeastern South Africa relies on the integrated Vaal River system, which includes a significant water transfer through the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. In October 2019, residents of Gauteng's capital, Johannesburg, faced precautionary water restrictions as the Vaal Dam levels plummeted to 53% due to planned maintenance halting Lesotho's water transfers for 2 months. With Gauteng's population rapidly increasing, the region stands on the brink of a water crisis. Intense heat waves further exacerbated the situation, causing daily water consumption to surge by 264 million gallons. Compounded by infrastructure issues, suburban taps began to run dry. With many rivers and springs already depleted, even boreholes proved ineffective as groundwater became scarce due to insufficient rainfall for recharging. The drought's impact in South Africa has been devastating, as water is the lifeblood of the nation. It has wrought major socio-economic effects, particularly on the large impoverished rural population and urban areas where water services have faltered. The drought led to widespread economic disruption, resulting in multiple physical and health challenges for rural communities. Livestock losses, reduced agricultural output, and limited access to water and food have been particularly acute. One of the most pronounced effects has been the surge in food prices. Maize prices have surged due to concerns that dry conditions in South Africa's main maize belt have delayed crop plantings, jeopardizing yields for this staple food used in both human consumption and livestock feed. Grain and red meat farmers anticipate tough times ahead as dry weather and a foot and mouth disease outbreak have halted meat exports. Consequently, meat and poultry prices, popular protein sources, have soared, posing challenges for low-income households. To alleviate the strain, the government has turned to importing food and poultry to bolster local production. The looming threat to livelihoods is palpable. Analysts project that the water crisis will result in the loss of around 300,000 jobs in agriculture and tens of thousands more across service, hospitality, and food sectors. Despite the apparent bleakness of the situation, South Africans have not only staved off day zero, but have also implemented better strategies to endure the drought. Residents have significantly reduced water usage, with Cape Townians actively sharing water-saving tips online and on call-in radio shows. To reduce water consumption, authorities have imposed bans on activities like car washes, swimming pools, and fountains, while residents are urged to limit household consumption to 50 litres. Strict agricultural quotas have also been enforced. Non-governmental organisation Gift of the Givers has played a crucial role by drilling boreholes near public facilities, such as hospitals and schools, tapping into deep water reserves beneath the South African landscape. These boreholes have proven invaluable to locals. Despite South Africa's ongoing struggles with drought, it experiences leaks in its water piping system, a luxury it cannot afford during such desperate times. An estimated 70 million litres of treated, clean, drinkable water are lost daily due to widespread leaks. However, the establishment of the Water Crisis Committee has spurred the government into action. Since June 2022, an emergency response team has successfully repaired over 9,700 leaks, mitigating the damage and ensuring the effective distribution of every water resource. Subscribe to our channel and embark on a journey into Africa's concealed narratives and untold stories. Delve into the continent's abundant history, unravel geopolitical complexities, and navigate its dynamic economy. It's not just about staying informed, it's a venture to challenge misconceptions and celebrate Africa. Join a community dedicated to understanding, engaging, and appreciating Africa. Hit subscribe, embrace the unknown, and become a part of reshaping perspectives.